Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Stream of Thought podcast where thoughts flow and ideas stick. I'm your host, Jasmine. And today, my overarching topic is protecting your peace. Protecting your peace is so important. I feel like in every aspect, whether you do it physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, protect your peace because that's all you got. So something that reminded me of that was um being alone doesn't have to necessarily mean that you're lonely. Um, I think it's something that you have to learn. You have to learn. Well, I did. I had to learn to be okay being alone and recognize that alone and lonely are not necessarily the same thing. You can be lonely in a room full of people because maybe these people you don't connect with, or um, you know, you don't like them or they don't like you, whatever the case. So you can be lonely, surrounded by people, because lonely is a feeling and being alone is a state of being. So I think being alone is okay. I think that comes with confidence, that comes with knowing yourself. And the only way to do that is to sit with yourself a little bit and figure out what it is that you want, what you like, who you are, instead of always being surrounded by other people so that you're not by yourself. And that'll help you to love yourself, I think. And I keep saying you, but I'm not. I'm talking to myself. Okay. That helped me to learn to love myself, to be okay being alone. And it reminded me of this song. I love Olivia Dean. She's like 10 out of 10 for me right now. I love her. I love her song, all her songs, her whole album, like everything. But there's one that, and I don't remember what it's called, but it's one line that says in the very beginning of the song, "It's heaven in my heart, but I can find you some space." And so I was like, oh, that's a confident woman to say something like that. So I'm already where I need to be, but I can make some space for you, So it's not in relationships, it's not a need, it's a want, it's a desire to have this person in your life, right? But it's not something that you have to fill a void, to feel whole. I'm already coming in as a whole person, and I can find you some space. And I feel like that's a really good thing, a really good mindset to have, like going into anything. Like, I'm already who I am, I already like who I am, love who I am. And you are a really good, like, extra add-on that I would enjoy, that I would like, or eventually love. So yeah, I felt like she really, her songs are super catchy, and like, I don't know, she gives like a old school vibe, like her voice and like her bubbliness. I don't know, it was like the 70s or something like that, but it's very much like a summer vibe or like a spring vibe. It's happy. It's happy music, I feel. So yeah, definitely recommend Olivia Dean. And so that is an example of being alone, but not being lonely, is an example of like protecting your peace and just being okay with yourself. Like, you got to sit with yourself sometimes, and you got to be like, hey, well, who am I? Um, and yeah, that it took me a while to learn that, because in my younger days, like, I definitely felt like I needed to be surrounded by people or in a relationship or something to make me feel um fulfilled, or like, I don't know, whole, when I had to recognize that, girl, you're already whole. You're already whole on your own, and you have to be good with who you are. So yeah. Another example, and this is an example of protecting your peace, like, emotionally. So forgive and forget. Like, I hear that saying so much. It's like, oh, forgive, forget, And I do believe in forgiving. Like, forgiving is good, God forgives, and so should we. But forgetting, I really haven't I haven't gotten to that part in my life. Yeah, maybe I got some growing to do. I feel like, you learn something new every day, and you grow, and you become a better person every day. So I'm not there yet to where I can forget things. I can't just erase what someone did or what someone said or whatever. I can forgive you for it, and I can move on from it. But I can't lie and be like, if like, let me just give an example. I was talking to someone recently and they were talking about like cheating in relationships, and how some people will, forgive and stay in that relationship or stay in their marriage or whatever. And I was like, okay, yeah, I get that. And sometimes that works out. Like, no shade or whatever to anybody that works out for. That's great. But the people that I've heard of that it hasn't worked out for, you weren't able to get a lot of times they weren't able to get past the infidelity. Like, I can forgive you for it, but I can't forget it. I can't forget that you did it. So if you do anything, it doesn't have to be infidelity again. It could be, something that reminds me of the fact that you cheated. Then I'm gonna think that you are cheating now, or that you could cheat again, or that saying, like, once a cheater always a cheater. And I don't know if I necessarily agree with that one either, because like it's probably dependent on the person and the mindset, whatever. But I think that you can't just erase your memory. Like I said, like, you're going to remember it. You're going to remember it. You can choose to not let it affect how you judge the situation or how you move on in the situation, but it's not like it never happened. So yeah, that forget part really gets me. Really. It's really, and maybe that comes with maturity, maybe that comes with growth. Maybe when I get older, I'll be like, all right, I can forget things, and I can truly move past things. But as of right now at 31, I don't think I can do that. Um, and when it comes to people saying that they do, I'm always curious, like, to know, like, how did you forget? Like, you like truly forgot? Wow, it's amazing, and it's so interesting. So I would like to talk to people who can truly say that and really mean it. Because I don't know, maybe, like I said, one day I could get there. So another thing of protecting your peace is protecting your peace physically. So, the saying, if you see something, say something. The first time I ever heard this saying was years ago. And I was at work, and so I was leaving work, and where I worked, it was like downtown, and I had to walk to the parking garage. And being, a woman, I'm only 5'3.5". Okay. I can never forget the half, because they try to take it away from me sometimes in certain doctor's offices. And I'm like, no, I'm basically 5'4". So anyway, and I'm small. So I'm small in stature, and I'm tiny just in general. So um I'm not intimidating when you see me like in person. Anyways, I was leaving work, and I was walking to the garage, and when I got in the garage, so there's steps. It was like a 3-level garage. It was the doorway, and then it was steps to like the right. And so when I walk in any place, I always look like to my left and to my right. So I looked to my left, there was nothing but the wall, and then I looked to my right, and I see the steps. And at the top of the first flight of the steps was a man in all black. I'm assuming it was a man. I mean, he had the stature of a man, but I guess it could have been a woman. But a person was standing at the top of the steps with a ski mask on and all black, like sweats. So you couldn't see anything but eyes, and he had gloves as well. So I didn't have to go up the steps because I parked on the first level. So I hurried up and went through the next door to get to and like basically ran to my car. But I did report it to my to like HR or whatever, because that was my job's my job's parking garage. So only the people that worked at my job parked in that garage. But it was also, it's not like it was locked, so anybody can walk in. So I don't know who that person was. And so when I reported it, that's what the HR person told me. When you see something, say something. And at first I was like, I am saying something to you. So, but do you mean say something to him? Because there was no way I was going to say something to that person. I was terrified because they didn't move. Not only did they have on all black and a ski mask and gloves and all this, like, why do you have all these things on and you're just standing there? It's like, I don't know if you're waiting for someone, but on top of that, they didn't even flinch, didn't move, didn't blink, nothing. It was almost like it was a statue there. And a little side note, before I get into more of see something, say something, I also had another friend who walked in the garage as well, and she did have to go up the flights of steps, and she said that she walked past that person, and it was just fine. Like, I just walked past them. I'm like, what? You just, I don't know. I think, I don't know. Different people are, I guess, braver than I am. But in my mind, I'm thinking like, this could literally be it for me. I don't know that maybe this, and this could be someone crazy, or maybe it cannot. But I am not going to take that chance. So I don't know what I would have done if I had to go up the steps, but I don't think I would have. I just don't think I would have. But yes, to see something, say something. And it made me think deeper, because I thought about that same story, because that happened maybe like 6, 7 years ago, like a long time ago. But I'll never forget it because it was traumatizing. But I thought about that recently, and I was like, so when is it appropriate? Is it always appropriate to say something? Is it always appropriate to step in? Um, and does it matter the situation or like who you are? Like I said, as a woman who's not super tall, who's smaller in like shape and stuff like that, um, do I step in when people are fighting? When is it appropriate for me to be like, okay, stop. Okay, I'm gonna stop this, because if you see something, you say something. Because I gotta protect my peace physically. So certain situations, I'm not interrupting. I can report it. Now I have no problem walking, making sure I'm far enough away to report something. But me actually going in there and interjecting and saying something in the moment, like, that's not me. That's not me. And that came to mind when uh somebody said something about, like, it was someone being abused or something like that, and how they jumped in and broke it up, and the guy ended up fighting them. So that made me think about how some situations can backfire, you know? Like, some things might not turn out how you want them to when you interject yourself in that moment. Now, if someone is being abused, I have absolutely no tolerance for abuse. But I don't think it's my place to step in, but it is definitely my place to call somebody. I will definitely, with no hesitation, call the police, and then they can step in, you know. Um, but yeah, so protect your peace mentally, physically, emotionally, all that, because it can get real out here. And there was no way I was walking past that man with that mask on. It was just no way. And I don't know whatever came of that, but nothing happened to me. So thank God for that. But yeah, so another thing that, and this was from church, so I get a lot of good things to think about when I go to church or when I listen to church online, from the pastor. And one thing that he brought up this past Sunday was that the devil distorts your thoughts, and that the devil is weak. He's not strong. Like he's weak, but he does have the ability to distort your thoughts and suggest and put these suggestions in your head and make you think and make and manipulate you to do things that maybe you wouldn't have done otherwise. So and I feel like that brings to mind mentally protecting your peace, because you can't let the devil in, you know. You can't let him control your thoughts. You have to always be like one track mind on God, you know, and what God wants for you, and living in his purpose and doing what he wants um for your life. So I feel like the devil's always working though, but God works harder. And I think that is because I'm not perfect, you know, so there's been many a times where the devil was definitely, you know, was definitely right here, and I was listening to him and I was letting him manipulate me, and I was doing things that I probably shouldn't have done. But I do think that the closer I get to God, the more I realize, like, the more I see what is the devil and what is him. So, yeah, I'm definitely grateful for that. But yeah, I feel like I I learn every day about how to protect my peace, how to discern, how to protect my peace mentally, physically, emotionally, all the things. And yeah, I'm a work in progress, just like I feel like a lot of people are. Like nobody's perfect, even though maybe we strive to be. But yeah, so that's it for this episode. Thank you all for listening, and I'll see you next time. Bye.